Hello, welcome to another tonal landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today is called Path to the Sea. It's 6 by 8, and I painted this last week. I'm real happy to share it with you. It's quite an interesting painting. It's kind of got a bit of a mood to it, and hopefully I can give you some insight into my processes here and maybe if you're into painting, we can help you do something similar if you wanted to. Now, we're working on, I believe this is hardboard. Don't quote me though, because I guess my short-term memory is okay. I don't know about my long-term memory or mid-term memory. Either way, hardboard or MDF. It looks like it might be MDF. Honestly, I kind of prefer the MDF on the 6 by 8. I feel that's pretty stable in those smaller sizes. The board has been prepped with 2 coats of house paint, and if you've been coming to the channel for a long time, you'll know that's my latest mode of operation. And sorry to repeat myself, but we're always getting new people here, so that's one of the key things they tend to want to know is what am I painting on, and what am I painting with? Well, I'm doing an underpainting right now, and I'm using burnt umber. It's just straight up burnt umber. Now, in the past, depending on the tone of the board, I might tint that umber. Oh, with some red, or seldom would I go green since I don't tend to paint on greeny tones. But I would a lot of times bring in some madder to make it more rich on a more reddish board. This board has been tinted to be kind of a muted burn umber, raw umber kind of tone. It's sort of in that range. It's got enough red to support what I do in a tonal way, and to set up a bit of that vibration, but it's not so red that I'm going to have bright red bits screaming around objects in the painting where I didn't actually abut painted sections. Um, The reference was put together from some. It was put together digitally, and it's the kind of thing where I was sort of looking at an old painting composition, but it was really weird and odd. So what ended up coming about here was kind of a happy accident with the path, and then a bit of the ocean in the background. I thought, well, hey, this could be a somewhat coastal scene, even though this could have just as easily been a little valley back there or some little hills or what have you. Out here where I live in New Zealand, they have a real fetish for the coastal scene, and we have a lot of coast, and we have some amazing beaches, and we have a lot of tourism as well, and that's the main thing that seems to attract people up here in the north, and so it behooves me to at least acknowledge that, and I will be able to sell more paintings because of it. Now, selling paintings isn't my reason for existing. Making beautiful paintings is my, well, I don't know if it's my reason for existing, but it certainly is valued by me and perhaps by you. I think I was just telling someone in my studio a moment ago. Hold on, I'm going to sniff here. Sorry, I had a sneeze prior to starting the talk. And you get it warts and all. I don't do a lot of editing. Anyway, I was telling that the feeling you get from creating something is one of the best feelings that life can provide us. You might have maybe a better feeling, say, from being a parent or something. Is about the only thing I think is comparable. And in a sense, you are the parent of the painting you're creating. And it's really awesome to just be able to build and build and build on your creative process, which is what I've been doing it my whole life, but I've been doing it with oil painting specifically since 2009 was when I started in earnest, and since that time I've devoted almost every day. There'd be vacations and other occasions where maybe I wasn't painting, but for the most part, if I wasn't painting, I was looking forward to the next time I could paint, because I'm very focused on landscape painting especially, but painting in general. And I'm always trying to get better at it, and I'm always trying to get better at expressing what it is that I'm feeling through the medium of paint. And like I say, I find it very rewarding, and I think no matter what sort of personality you might have, you're going to find doing something creative to be rewarding, far more so than, say, playing a video game. Now, arguments can be made that that's creative, and obviously it is. It requires some creative thinking many times to solve some of the puzzles and mazes that might present themselves to you, or to requires creative thinking to strategize. Say if you're into these shoot 'em up type games. So I won't say it doesn't require creativity, but what I will say is that you don't get much to show for it. And whatever game you mastered last year or 2 years ago is now an old game, and you're going to be looking forward to mastering something new. Now, this is great as a form of entertainment, but as far as your life goes, what is it that you've got to show for your time? Speaking of, I got a book that I made. I've got that to show for my time, and I basically wrote the book because I would get the same sorts of questions on the channel all the time, and I realized that with thousands of videos on the channel, that it'd be very difficult to find where specific information would be. And now in this new AI age, maybe that'll change. Hopefully it will. But meanwhile, we have books, and you know what? I hope books stay around forever. I'll ship this book to you if you want to learn about painting in a tonal manner, or at least my approach to it. I'll ship it to you anywhere on the planet for $60 US. International shipping is included. Now, I've been able to hold the line on that. As we all know, inflation's been going crazy, especially bad here in New Zealand. The economy here has been quite sad, quite bad. That said, it's a beautiful place, and as long as my attitude is, as long as I've got enough to eat and a place to sleep where I'm not getting rained on and I can paint every day, I'm a pretty happy camper, so I'm not complaining. Anyway, getting back into making things that you have something to show for your time. That I think is awesome. Now, I've been into making art my whole life because basically I chose at a fairly young age to get into art because I reasoned that it would be a good potential career for someone of my temperament. And I was the kind of kid that thought that way, and I came from the kind of family where you had to think that way because not like kids these days where you could pretty much be at home till you're 30, 40, or 50. My folks had plans, and I was expected to move on. So I was thinking about that, and most of the other careers that I thought would be okay, just weren't as interesting as making art. I think making art is a wonderful use of time, and again, could could pay pretty well back in the day, especially when I was a commercial artist. I made a good living, and that was certainly a dream come true for me, to get paid a regular wage to create art. Uh, was wonderful until it wasn't, but not gonna get too into that. I've covered that in my blog before, and I'll be covering that on future projects I'm working on too, because I do think it's significant, and I think as human beings, we're going to need to face these sorts of issues more and more because we're in a post-scarcity age. We definitely are, even though the so many of the mechanisms that are controlling society are still these scarcity mechanisms, and we got people that are richer, people that are poorer, people that are infinitely richer, and I don't know how it's all going to sort itself out, but suffice to say that a lot of when we had the Industrial Revolution, plenty of people were employed running these machines that made things. But as we trolled on down the lane, a lot of the jobs that required physical, repetitive effort were and have been replaced with robotics and things like that. And a lot of the employment has moved over into the service sort of sector, but you're going to see that massively impacted now. And I'm not really coming from a place of fear here. I think it's probably a great thing because, yeah, you need a job, and so many of us, my whole life, it's really bugged me how we all expected to do these jobs all day, things we don't care about and don't particularly want to do, just to make money to pay our bills. This has been a wrinkle of the modern world that I just think is sucks, and I've always hated it from a very young age. And one of the things that drove me to thinking, well, what would be a great thing to spend my day doing, and making art seemed to be that. And from the point where I came to that conclusion, I started developing my abilities every day. Pretty much, I would work on drawing, and I didn't get that much into painting until I got into my 40s, really. Although I did do some painting, and certainly when I was a commercial artist, I was doing a lot of painting in the computer. What I would do is usually draw my whatever I was assigned to do with a pencil or pen, and then scan that into the computer, and then proceed to color and illustrate it there. You know, and that is absolutely wonderful. It's amazing, and I was really intoxicated with working that way. I was really into the digital thing for a long time, but to me, it has one big drawback, and that is everything that comes into the real world from the digital world is some sort of reproduction or facsimile of. Well, is it a facsimile of something that never had any physical embodiment? That's way too deep for me. However, if you want it in a frame on the wall, you're going to make a print. And now you can make awesome prints that have great color depth and resolution. And I have a printer. It's right here by my right elbow. Um, Still in my office. I got one, and I did do some of that, but ultimately my heart just wasn't in it because, well, not only are we in a post-scarcity world in general, but there's no shortage of reproductions available to people. What is, and actually, I was just going to say paintings are in short supply, but we have lots of paintings too. But even if you have lots of paintings, I have lots of paintings, and a lot of artists are making paintings every day. We don't really have a shortage of paintings, but if, for example, the painting we're working on here, if this painting moves you and it speaks to you and you want this in your home, you have you have the benefit of knowing that it is one of a kind. That yes, I can take a good photo of it, and I have been doing so for a long time. And yes, I could make a reproduction from that, and yes, I could market and sell that reproduction to hundreds or thousands of people. But the painting itself is one of a kind. It's a unique object. It is not going to be, if I want to do, and I have done, just recently I had a situation where um, within a period of weeks, I repainted a scene. Now, usually I'm not shy about repainting scenes, and if you followed the channel for any length of time, you might go, well, that looks familiar, that composition. Well, that's because I painted that scene before, but they have only vague resemblances to their previous siblings, the scenes that are, the paintings that are made from the same sort of scene. In this instance where I did that only a few weeks apart, those were quite a bit closer because I was very much the same. It was very similar as a person. However, there were big differences. Both are one of a kind. One of a kind that's intrinsically valuable to me. It is and can be considered to be currency, especially if the thing that is being valued has beauty or emotional content. And I think that as we're moving into a sort of post-scarcity world where people are going to be no longer required to do something they don't want to do all day just to pay their bills. Now this channel is not going to cover what's going to come in to replace that, but something is going to have to come in to replace that, and we will be faced with how, in the not too distant future, how we're going to spend our time and what it is we're going to do. And my feeling is that making a beautiful one-of-a-kind objects sounds like a great thing to do. Maybe you're into painting. I have a good friend who's a carver, and he's been doing this forever. Makes beautiful, amazing carvings. You look at him and you go, wow, how could somebody do that? It requires so much skill. Well, he's developed that skill over many years, and each carving is only going to be that carving. Anyway, until I come back with another video for your, hopefully for your edification and enjoyment, do me a favor, do me a solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones. Stay out of trouble. God bless you and your family, and more than ever, it's important to fight the power.